Draw a dot on a piece of paper. Draw a line and a curve. Next, a square and a circle if you want. And finally, draw a cube. Congratulations, you've just demonstrated the concept of shape dimensionality, which we can use to make drawing easier and, in my personal case, much faster. There are 4 types of shapes that we can draw with: points, lengths, areas, and volumes. In this video, I'm going to break down how you can incorporate each type of shape in your drawings to optimize the creative process. Let's get started. Giant sketchbooks are awesome. I really like using these because it feels like you're never running out of space when you're drawing. There's a sense of freedom to draw as large as you want or as small as you want. This one is from Ohuhu. The paper is thicker than usual and it's very smooth because it's actually a marker pad for alcohol markers. I have these organized by hue and saturation. Anyway, all of the supplies I use here today will be in the description. The sketchbooks, the markers, and the drawing pens. So thanks to Ohuhu for sponsoring this video and for sending these supplies over. All right. So the name of the game with shape dimensionality is to use the lower resolution shapes to build up the higher resolution shapes. Now, what do I mean by resolution? We're talking resolution in terms of shape dimensionality, which is just a fancy way of expressing how many dimensions a shape has. So we have our points, our lengths, areas, and our volumes. So in this case, a 3D shape, a volume is higher resolution than a 2D shape. Does that make sense? So now I'm going to draw for you a shape library categorized by dimension. Let's see what that looks like. So here's an example shape library categorized by dimension. Now you may see some familiar shapes such as C, S, and I if you're familiar with gesture drawing. We also have squares, circles, the ellipse, and of course in the 3D category we have cubes, spheres, and cylinders. So to understand how to use each type of shape, let's get to know a little bit more about them. Starting with the point. So the point is a 0-dimensional mark. It has 0 dimensions. And of course, we're speaking from an artistic point of view, not in a mathematical sense. Points have neither length, width, nor depth. And for that reason, they make a great measuring tool when drawing. So you can consider any shape to be a point when the audience is not necessarily supposed to see it. You know, when you see the guidelines or you see little measuring points that artists make in their sketch work, that's what points are. They're markings that we don't put a scale to. Next up, we have the lengths. And the length of a shape is its longest dimension. I call lines lengths because their longest dimension is their only dimension. And we can build lengths out of points like so. So if you put a bunch of points like this, now we have a line. We use about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points to make that line. Or we can put about 3 billion points and make a line like that. So one-dimensional shapes are great for measuring. They can capture movement, gesture, and of course, they can also be used when building 2D shapes or areas. Areas have length and width. They are 2-dimensional. I'd like to say that areas carry the most basic identification of an object. For example, you can tell that this right here is an apple, even though unlike real apples, it only has 2 dimensions. And finally, we can use areas to build volumes. Volumes have length, width, and depth. They are 3D shapes. The world that we live in is made up of volumes. We live in a 3D world. So we know a little bit more about each type of shape. And we want to remember that we use the points to draw the lengths to draw the areas, and the areas to draw the volumes. So let's give this method a try. Okay, so let's try this out. I recommend that you switch to pencil for this exercise, at least to start with. We're going to use this method to draw this red cup right here. So I'm going to make this center line where sort of the axis where you see that handle of the cup coming in. Make that sort of my center line. We got this line right here. Alright, so these markings on the edges are our points, and then we got 2 lines for our 2 axes. And then we can draw an ellipse for the opening of our cup. I recommend drawing this very light. The only reason I'm darkening mine is because so you guys can see it on camera. Okay, the cup has an upright orientation, so we can just take this center line right here. We're going to draw a gesture line going downwards, right about there. Do a little measuring with my fingers to make sure I got the right proportions. And for this circle below, we're going to do that same thing. We're going to get our midline right here, something like this. But this circle is smaller. As you can see, the base of the cup is smaller than the opening. So let's make sure we indicate that. Got the perspective line going that way, right? Got our points at the edges here. Another ellipse. This one's more circular because it's actually farther away from us. Okay, and what do we see connecting these two circles? Well, I see two very stretched out C curves like this, connecting these two circles. We just have two C curves. Do you see that? So we have two ellipses, two-dimensional shapes connected by two C curves. And that will give us a three-dimensional shape, a volume. All right, for the rim of the cup, let's just set our measuring points like so. For the inside rim of the cup, and we get another ellipse in here. All right, cool. So let's set a point where our edges are, somewhere like here. And then along the side, we have the handle of the cup. So I'm going to bring this line down, another C curve, to connect the 2 points of this cup, forming sort of a middle line for this cup right here. Make sure I got that accurately. All right, and what do I see? Well, I see this way down about an inch from the rim, got a C curve. And then about an inch from the bottom, got another C curve. Something like this. It comes up and then right there. It's kind of like the silhouette of it. C curve here, straight back here, and another C curve coming down. Kind of miss the center right here. And if you mess up, it's okay. Just go ahead, erase it, fix it if you need. All right, so you can see how we can build volumes from points, lengths, and areas by working from low resolution to high resolution. Once you get a nice lay-in sketch of your drawing, you can go in and refine. So anytime you approach drawing something from observation, try this method. Start with those points just to measure the extremities of the object and get your gesture lines in there as well. Get your two-dimensional shapes and then gradually build up your three-dimensional shapes. It's not the easiest concept to wrap your head around at first, so I definitely recommend that you guys practice this. Just as I was able to draw this small sketch faster than I was able to draw this large demonstration, I recommend that you draw the same object multiple times. I find that you learn more by drawing the same thing multiple times than drawing a bunch of different things. And that way you can train yourself to see simple shapes in complex objects, which will improve the speed of your drawing. In my next drawing class, we'll go over shape manipulation, which is how we turn normal shapes like cubes and cylinders into full-blown characters and designs. So hit subscribe for more free drawing tutorials here at the Noble Frugal Studio. Thank you guys for watching, and special thanks to Ohuhu for sponsoring this video and sending over the supplies. For more drawing practice, click the join button or become a patron to see an in-depth shape breakdown of this picture here. That's all from me, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.